Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Adobe Muse Quickstart guide. And in today's video we are going to be finishing off the website, going over some last minute sort of additions to our website. So over the series we've created our homepage, we've got that all finished, and we've almost finished our contact page as well. We've got all of the widgets working, all of the buttons, the contact form, and everything we need to do. So now what I want to do is pretty much place in the last few images into the About Us page and into the contact page as well. And then in the next video, I'm also going to be going over how we can actually upload our website to a website using, to your hosting using an FTP server. But for now, let's go ahead and just jump into the About Us page and start making it look a bit more like an About Us page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly bring over my sort of Photoshop document here just so you can see what it should look like. So you can see here that I've got this little bar up here that says our mission is simple, and I've also got a couple of images as well, which is quite nice. So having said that, let's just go ahead and see if we can crop that out. So I'm going to select this little bar here and I'm going to rasterize this so it's all one image. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, rasterize, and then I'm going to merge it. And now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and select this, and we are going to get it out, and then we're going to copy that, and then we're going to create a new document, and this is going to be called, we're just going to use the clipboard resolution for now. You can see I've selected 1962 by 351, that seems about right, and then I'm just going to paste this in here and chuck it in there. So you can see that there was a bit of an issue there where my feathering is actually a little bit off. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and when I go into my selection tool, make sure you don't have any feathering. If you do sort of get that kind of weird little effect, sort of what has caused it. It's all going to be feathering. Just make sure you turn all of that off, copy it again, chuck it in, and then boom, and it will look a lot cleaner there for us. And that is working great. And I'm also going to make sure I include the text in there as well. So I'm just going to quickly grab my text, and I'm just going to select the layer. Whoops. So select the text layer and then just sort of drag it onto this little window here, and there you are. And hopefully this should give you a better understanding of how we can actually bring sort of images and text and stuff from a Photoshop document and bring it into Adobe Muse. So now I'm going to go ahead and save this as a JPEG file. I'm not going to worry about saving it as a PNG because it doesn't have to be too high resolution and there's no transparency inside of it. So now I'm going to go into my website folder if I can find the right one. So Muse website, content, and then I'm just going to chuck it in here, and I'm going to save this as a JPEG. So JPEG, and I'm going to call this About Banner. Now we've done that, let's go ahead and jump over to Adobe Muse and place in that image. So go to File, Place, and now let's go ahead and chuck this in. So once again, it's in my desktop, Muse website, and then About Banner, and then you can just sort of place it in like that. But if you've been paying attention to my previous videos, if we're going to be working with anything like banners or structural elements, you don't want to import it sort of as an image. You want to be using a a rectangle instead. So go ahead and place in a rectangle just like this, and instead we're going to be using the fill and add an image to that instead. So About Banner, and there you are. And once again, we need to change our fitting to scale to fit, or scale to fill even. And we're also going to make sure it's centralized as well, because we don't want it to be sort of going all over the place. So let's go ahead and drag this down now, the text anyway, and move this in. If we go ahead and file and sort of preview the site in the browser, we can see exactly what our banner is going to be looking like in just a second now. So give it a moment. So if we go to About Us, you can see our banner is there. Doesn't look too great at the moment because it's sort of underneath our, header. So we might actually have to make this a little bit bigger, move it down, or, sort of do something with it really. So if you want to do that, you can. It's up to you. I'm just going to leave it like this for now. Or you could sort of work on maybe creating a bigger sort of banner image instead. So we can do that. So if we go into my Photoshop document, let's see what we can do with that. So if we go ahead and grab this, you can see I've already cropped that, possibly. No, I haven't cropped it. So basically we just need to get a bigger image, just like this. So yeah, there you are. So I'm trying to get this section, but I need to get a bigger image. So I'm going to go into this, and I'm going to go to image, and I'm going to go to canvas size, and we should get this little pop-up and change it to pixels, and let's just make this a little bit taller. I'm going to change this to something like 550 instead, and we are going to get rid of the background layer, we're going to get rid of this layer, and we are just going to drag in this image again. So click, get the layer selected, and then just drag it into your scene, just like that. And now then, make sure that the background layer is sort of on the bottom below it, and we're also going to make sure the text is sort of slightly down a little bit as well, because we're going to have the menu up top and we want it to sort of be centralized. Now when you're making websites, especially graphical stuff like this, there is going to be a lot of adjustments that you're going to have to do, so just keep going backwards and forwards, sort of just going into Photoshop and Muse and just sort of changing it to get the look and the style that you're after. Let's just go ahead and replace that. And I'm going to go into Adobe Muse once again. I'm going to make this bigger, and I'm also going to change the fill image. It doesn't automatically update, so you just have to sort of chuck it in there again, and you can see this time it has gone in there just fine, and you can see our mission is simple and it doesn't look too shabby. So looking into my About Us page, let's see what else we need to do. So I need to go ahead and open the website again, because for whatever reason, no, I have got it here. There you are. So on the About Us page, what do we got? We've got a couple more images, but I'm not going to be worrying about placing that right now. You guys should know how to do that already, but I'm just going to move my text around, and I'm going to move around my list as well, so it looks a bit more, reasonable. So jump back into Muse, and let's go ahead and move this down, and we are also going to be chucking in our text, and for this text we are just going to be using a lorem ipsum generator. So I'm just going to type lorem ipsum into Google, and I'm going to get a nice long piece of text, so something like this, and I'm going to paste it in. We're going to do some basic styling to it, and then we are going to call our website finished from there. So chucking it into this box, there you are, and I'm going to give it the same sort of size as the rest of the text that we've got here. And I'm also going to change the font. You can change this to anything you like. I quite like the look of the Verdana font, but like I said, you guys can do anything you like. You've got a couple of different text alignment styles. You can work with Justify, and it will make it sort of like a box. You can center align it. It's entirely up to you guys. I'm going to work with Justify for now, because I've got a list. I sort of want it to be, a little bit somewhat coherent here. So I'm going to chuck this in just like that, and we're going to call it this. So let's go ahead and preview our website once again and take a look at how it is. So we go to our About Us page. We need to move that down a little bit, but that's not too big of an issue. We can do that in a second. Contact page is looking good. We've got our contact form, all of that stuff. So let's just go ahead and fix our About page. So we need to move that down, make a few changes. Let's see what we can do. So first thing I'm going to do then is I'm going to make sure that I pin this banner to the top, so it doesn't no, I don't want to pin it to the top. So let's just go ahead and preview page in browser again. We may have to move this a little bit. So yeah, that's fine. So what I got to do is I got to make this a little bit taller, just like that. Move this down, move this down. It's all about sort of trial and error, really. Just keep playing around with it. Keep opening it up in the browser until you do get the look and the style that you're after. So let's keep doing this. So fill, position, let's just do scale to fit for now or something maybe. Or original size. Just play around with different fitting types to get what you want. I'm going to work with scale to fit. Let's see what happens when I do this. No, that doesn't work too well. So let's try again. There you are, let's try this. Okay, so the banner's looking a lot more reasonable there, and what I think I'm going to have to do now to get the text to sort of stop overlapping each other is I'm going to put a sort of rectangle in the content area. So I'm going to create a rectangle, just like this, and I'm going to make sure it's set to 100% width. And I'm not going to worry about having sort of a background fill at the moment. And I'm also going to make sure that I've got my banner set to 100% width as well. So I'm going to drag it all the way up to the width, 100% on the sides there. Let's move this down. So I'm going to line this up, and then, so let's see if that's made the change that we want it to do. There you are, and that's looking a little bit more reasonable. I just need to move my list down and we will be good to go. So, go into here. So let's chuck this in here. Because I've got a no background fill on my sort of background div that I've got here, it is causing a few issues when I try and select it, but if you just move it down temporarily and then move it back up once you've done your sort of alignment and all of that kind of thing, it should come out just fine. So one last time, let's preview the page in the browser. And you can see it's looking exactly how we want it to. Now, if you guys wanted to, you could go ahead and put in a whole bunch of different images and stuff like I have done in sort of my Photoshop view of this website. But for now, I'm just going to leave that. You guys know how to do it. Just do it whenever you get a chance. But for now, our website is looking good. I'm 100% happy with this. There is a few more bits that I want to do, things like setting a favorites icon and, just tiny little things. But for now, I'm going to call this finished, and make sure you tune in to the next few videos where we go over setting the favorites icon, uploading it to an FTP server, and all of that good stuff. And hopefully, by the end of this week, we should have a working website that's up on the browser, ready to see. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you smack that like button, share the video, keep on creating, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.